Did you need help with something? You need help looking for some new books to read? Okay. So, what kind of books are you into reading? Like, do you read any non-fiction, fiction? Fiction, okay. And then, are you more into like sci-fi, fantasy? You're not entirely sure. Okay. Well, I can kind of go over some of the most popular fiction books we have that most people are reading right now. You may have heard of some of these, but we can go over a couple of those if you want. And I can tell you a little bit about them, or I can read the back of them to you. Yeah, we can do that. Let me go ahead and just grab a couple. Were you looking for like a series or just one book? A series, okay, yeah. I can get you the first book of a couple of series and we can kind of go over those books. Okay, yeah, give me 1 second and I will grab a couple books. Okay, so this I would say is one of the probably most popular like fantasy books right now. This is A Court of Thorns and Roses. A lot of people call it ACOTAR. That's just the acronym for it. This is by Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, so this is a series. It does total 5 books right now. I do believe they are coming out with a 6th book this year around October or something like that. So we have the first book and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is a 5-book series. This first book is, let me see. The first book is 419 pages. Yeah, so not too long. So if you're trying to get into a series, or you're trying to decide if you like the series first, it's not too long of a book for you to read and then decide if you want to continue on with the series. So I'm going to go ahead and read the back of the book that gives a little bit of a summary of the book without spoiling anything about it. When 19-year-old Huntress Farah kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Farah discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal, immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings of the fairy Tamlin transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right about the Fairy plans. An ancient wicked shadow is growing, and Fairy must find a way to stop it, or doom Tamlin and his world forever. So how does that one sound? Interesting. I feel like the backup books don't really give much justice to how good a series can be. Yeah, obviously they don't want to spoil anything, and they don't want to give away too many details, so they don't do much justice to how good the series is. I have read this series, all of the books I'm going to show you today I have read. this series an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's very, very good. Okay. Yeah, this one. So I'm going to go ahead and set that one down. And I'm going to put it back on the shelf. And then I'm going to grab another book. And then we can kind of go over that one. But this is definitely one of the most popular series right now in the whole fantasy type of books. And I feel like it's not too long for a series since it is only 5 books, and this is all of the books with this one. So I think to get into the whole fantasy reading, I think this is a really good series to start with. Personally, this is the series that got me into reading. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back, and then we can take a look at another one. So this next book is, again, another one of the very, very popular series right now. This is the Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros. This one has been super popular, and again, this is another series that gets people into reading all of the fantasy type books. Yeah, so this one currently has 3 books. I'm not entirely sure when the next book will come out. I know that she's working on a little bit of a shorter book that's supposed to come out pretty soon. Kind of similar to the Ecuador series. She did come out with this little book right here. So I think that's kind of what she's coming out with right now. Before the 4th book comes out, this one is a little bit longer than the first Ecuador book. This one has 541 pages. So I'll go ahead and read the back to you. 20-year-old Violet Soaringale was supposed to enter this quiet quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now, the commanding general, also known as her deafest Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become elite of Navarre dragon riders. I apologize if I butcher any of the words. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans. They incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than kidheads, most would kill Violet to better their own chance of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Zayden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Rider Squadron. She'll need every edge her wits can give her, just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows more deadly. The kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. Friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Biscayne War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out: graduate or die. How does that one sound? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely one of the most popular series. It is a little bit shorter of the series, and I would say that this one, the story moves a lot faster than the A Court of Thorns and Roses. I feel like you kind of have to push through the first book for the series to get really, really good. And this one, I feel like the story moves a little bit faster, so if you're trying to get into reading, this one can be sometimes a really great option compared to other series that sometimes the story building takes a long time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one back, and then I'll grab one last book for you. And then if none of those sound interesting, if you want to buy those, I can kind of look for another one. Okay, so that was the Fourth Wing series. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next, this is my personal favorite series. This one is a little bit harder to get into, and I think sometimes it's maybe not the best first fantasy series to read, especially if you're maybe trying to get into reading. This one can kind of be a lot, and there is a lot of story building, but once you get into it, it is the best series. I would give it a 10 out of 10 rating. I would give Fourth Wing probably like a 7 out of 10, and I would give this is the Throne of Glass series that I'm about to go over, and this one I would give it 10 out of 10. But I don't know if you're trying to get in reading, I would maybe not recommend starting off with this series, just because it can be a lot with the story building and it might discourage you. And it's also a little more complicated with the reading order and everything. So chronologically, this book right here is chronologically first. However, you do want to read in the order that the books came out. So it is recommended actually that you read this book third, and you start off with the Throne of Glass book first, and then also when I read it first, I didn't do the tandem read where you read these two books at the same time, but I almost wish I had, because these two books, it's just the different characters in different places, but it's happening at the same time. And Tower of Dawn can be a little hard to get through. I think breaking it up and reading it at the same time as Empire Storms can be really helpful. You kind of just have to go based off of what other people say. I personally wish I had read them at the same time the first time I read it. And you can look up a reading schedule for tandem reading them together. But overall, when the first time I read the series, I did not read The Assassin's Blade at all. I really wish I had read that, and I wish I had read it the first time around. So my recommendation, you can do a little bit of research, is to read Throne of Glass, then The Crown of Midnight, then Assassin's Blade, then Heir of Fire, then Queen of Shadows, and then tandem read Tower of Dawn and Empire Storms, and then Kingdom of Ash last. Anybody who has read this series will probably tell you it's a 10 out of 10 series. If they fully read it through, it just takes a lot to get into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and this, I will say, is probably not gonna do the entire series justice at all. I do feel like you don't really start to get into it until you get to the Heir of Fire, which I know sounds like a lot. I have to read 2 books to really, and that doesn't mean that the first 2 to 3 books aren't, with Assassin's Blade included, good. They are very good and very entertaining. It's just like, I feel like the story doesn't really start to come together until Heir of Fire, which is the 4th book. So I'm going to go ahead and read the back of this one. This is the book that you would start off with. This one is, let me see. This one is 404 pages, so again, not too long. So it's a great size book to the series. So, in a land without magic, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She has no love for the vicious king who rules from his throne of the glass. But she has not come to kill him. She has come to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 murderers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. Her name is Selena Sardarthian. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, and a princess from a faraway country will befriend her. But something rotten dwells in the castle and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying mysteriously one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world. Thrilling and fierce Throne of Glass is the first book in the #1 New York Times best-selling series. This captivated readers worldwide. And this is another Sarah J. Maas series. So there's kind of almost a whole universe, I believe. What I've heard is that the 6th Akatar book is supposed to tie in Throne of Glass, Akatar, and the Crescent City series. I have not personally read the Crescent City series, but I do believe Crescent City ties in Akatar into some of its books. That one is a 3-book series. That one, I know that it is probably the hardest one to get into. I personally need to start reading, and I know that a lot of people do love it, but I do know that it is known to be like one of the hardest ones to get into. And the first book is very thick. This is the first book, and there are 3 of them. They're all about that thick. That one, I know, for me it was a little bit hard when I first started reading it, just because it had like, there's phase, and it's fantasy, but it also had like technology and phones, and that just seemed a little weird to me. But I do know that there's a lot of people that's their favorite out of all of the Sarah J. Maas series. So I definitely need to give it a go again and really finish the first book to get into it. Yeah, I think if you're looking for something that the storyline goes pretty quickly, that way you're not getting bored and you're trying to get into reading Akatar or Fourth Wing is going to be your best bet. If you really want to try Throne of Glass, maybe you've heard good things about it also, and you think that you're willing to put in the effort and read the first 3 books to really get into the story, then I really think I highly recommend this series. But I do think that if you are just starting off on your reading journey, some of these faster series that like the story goes a lot faster, it's gonna be better for you. Because I mean, this is a very long series. Let me see how many books. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 books in this series. Obviously, some of them are much smaller, but that kind of is a lot of books to get through. Yeah, and the last book is very, very long. It is, I believe, 1,000 pages, so it can be very daunting if you're just trying to get into reading. I do highly recommend it, but it's as up to you if you do want to try it out. So what do you think about this series? You want to try it? Okay. I do recommend it. As for the reading order, it's kind of up to you. I would do a little bit of research. If you just want to start off with the first book, or you can buy the whole series. I do typically, even though I do think you're going to want to read the whole series, I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Sometimes I do recommend just buying the first book, because if you can't get through the first book, obviously you're not going to read the whole series. Yeah, so I do recommend just getting the first book for now, and then later on you can get the next book. Yeah, it is cheaper to buy the whole series at once. first book. Okay, yeah, we can do that. So the first book is $19. Yeah, a little more pricey for a book, but it is one of the best-selling series out there. Anybody who has read the series absolutely loves it and 100% recommends it. Okay, yeah, so we can go ahead and get this today. And then, were you interested in possibly getting like a bookmark or any little knickknacks or anything we have? You need a bookmark. Okay, yeah, we are low on bookmarks, so we only have one right now. It is handmade. I can go ahead and show you that one. Okay, we actually have 2 bookmarks right now. These are handmade leather bookmarks. So we have this one. And the back is this red suede, hand stitched. This one's a little more thick. Yeah, and this one is a little bit better for. And this one is just this like alligator leather. Alligator kind of patterned leather. This one's a little bit thinner with a little string. Yeah, so there's this bookmark and then this one. Would you be interested? They're $10 each. This one. Okay. Yeah, we can go ahead and get you that one. And then was there any other little knickknacks or anything? We do have a Throne of Glass coloring book that you can get. I don't know if you want to get that now or later on. Not interested now, okay. And then we do have this cute little like ornament type thing that has little books on it. Right here. You don't want anything else? Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So I have the bookmark for you. And then, sorry, a bookmark for you. And then I have that book. So will that be all for today? Okay. Yeah, so the total for today is going to be $29. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this in a bag for you. Is that going to be cash or card? Card. Okay. So I'm going to put that in a bag for you. Did you want a bag? A bag. Okay. So I'll go ahead and give that to you. And then it is going to ask on the keypad if you want to donate to support getting books for children. That's okay. Okay. Well, you're all set to go. If you do end up liking that, please come back and visit me so we can get you the rest of the series and possibly the coloring book. And if you finish that, we can see about the other series, or we can go over some other series out there that you might like. Okay. Well, you are all set to go. I really hope you enjoy that series. And definitely come back and see me and let me know whether you liked it or not, even if you buy the series somewhere else. I'd love to know what you thought about it and everything. Okay. Yeah, you have a nice day.